7 must-read copywriting books so you can get started to becoming a pro in copywriting. But before I do, make sure you join Funnel Hacker Pro. It's my private Facebook group. Most people would pay to be in a group like this. You can even see that I stacked up a bunch of books that I read here, and I put a bunch of more information in here. Most people would pay to be in a group like this. That's Funnel Hacker Pro. Let's go. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button. Click that bell to get notified of when I upload videos. I'm on an everyday schedule right now. Make sure that you share this video if you know someone that could use this information, and click the thumbs up if you like it. Go ahead and hit it right now. If you don't, you can take it back before you leave. All right, man, let's jump right into it. This picture I showed you there that was in my group is just a stack of books that I had posted up that I suggest people read. But I didn't suggest an order on how you should read these books. The first thing that I want to point out right now is that the Gary Halbert letter is at the GaryHalbertLetter.com. His letters, now there's kind of like this thing with Gary Halbert where most people think that, I can't explain what I mean here. I'm trying to, I don't want to diss him or anything like that. But as far as copywriters go, he's not going to be the type of copywriter, and the things that he has to say most of the time aren't talking about copywriting. I want to make that clear. Most of the time what he's talking about is how to make money with mail order, right? So he does have some things he's talking about, but I still suggest, okay, so give you an example, how to cash in big by using contests and sweepstakes to hype your promotions, right? Your promotions. By saying that, he's telling you that he's trying to talk about your mail order catalog promotions or whatever. But I still want you to read all of them. It's a free resource. Gary Halbert was really slick. The Boron Letters are here as well. So if you scroll down, you can read the Boron Letters. You can also buy the Boron Letters. But I suggest you just read all of this stuff as you can. Just go along and read this stuff. He was a really good salesman. He was a really good copywriter. And he just knew his shit. So just read through it. He also has how he would try to become an A-list copywriter within 30 days. Definitely read that because it does work. The next one I'm going to suggest, and this is in order, is The Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy. This is the very first book that I actually read about copywriting, and it's not about copywriting, but you see it's the Ultimate Sales Letter. But what this does is it gets you in the mindset of you have to know who your client is, who your customer is, who's your prospect. And before you start understanding about the actual what we call them devices and sections of a sales letter and how to persuade, you need to understand, first of all, that you have to be inside your customer's head. So The Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy, I suggest reading first. The second one is My Life in Advertising and Scientific Advertising. Now, this is Claude Hopkins. It's a classic. And as a matter of fact, when you join, I believe it's Agora Financial, they say you read this book 7 times. And these are 7 books. There's obviously a lot more. But what I want to tell you is try not to read 1,000 books. They say it's better to pick one book and read it 1,000 times than pick 1,000 books and read them once. Right? So I'm going to give you 7 books. And these books you can get all over and over and over again and continue to get tons of information out of those books. You'll read them over and over and over again. Just keep going through them. And you're going to kind of start going over the same information. And that's what's going to start drilling things in your head. So this will get you into advertising and how this scientific advertising, in other words, how the persuasion works. It's going to break you into how things actually work in advertising. This one is Caples, another classic, and this is tested advertising methods. He's going to tell you exactly what works in advertising, what he did to make money, all these things. Don't make the mistake of thinking these are dated. These are not dated. All these techniques still work now. And Testing Advertising Methods is another one that I suggest you read 1,000 times. This book here, Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Swartz, is a classic. And if I was to go here, you can see shaded here, the price on these books is $400. The really cool thing is Brian Kurtz has the rights to this book, and he did a reprint on these books. And I think you can go to breakthroughadvertisingbook.com or something like that, and you can get the book for $125. Definitely worth the investment. This book is really going to break down what advertising is all about and what each device in the advertising, how it works, tons of examples on why and what's going to work with your clientele. Now, those other books were kind of like, or prospects, I should say. Those other books are from the 1920s, the 1930s. This book is from the 1960s. So it's a little bit more updated. Some of the products that they're talking about, you'll be kind of familiar with if you're at least 40 years old or more. You'll kind of be familiar with the products, and it'll feel a little bit more updated for you. I don't want any of that to get in your way. Eugene Swartz was a genius with this. I have several videos by him. I have a lot of his swipe files. He was just seriously a genius in advertising and one of the most respected dudes, and one of my favorite books. I've read this book a few times. As a matter of fact, I'm going to break it out again and read it again and keep going through the book. You learn more and more as you go through the books. Things catch your eyes, right? The next book I have, and I studied David Ogilvy. This dude was a beast, man. He actually has a castle here in France. He's passed away now, but his family still has a castle. He had a huge castle here in France. He retired here in France. I didn't even know that. And this dude was a beast. I started studying him, and I read his book. This book lays out everything to it. Actually tells you how to run your own ad agency, how to put ads out there for your own ad agency. He actually goes to a lot of examples of ads, talks about what works, what doesn't work, like don't use humor, and humor's starting to work a little bit. Humor does work now, but it wasn't then, and it's starting to work. How he ran car ads. Really just goes through the whole thing, his whole story. There's a brand story that he has, and I have a video. You could probably find it on YouTube, but I have a video of him at his castle, and he breaks down basically this book. He talks about it, and you'll see interviews where he kind of talks about the different things that is in this book. Any book by David Ogilvy is good, but this particular book is really good. And the reason why I say that is also it talks about, like, I put a post up in my group about, and I circled in red all of the advertising he ran for his company. They look just like social media posts from today. It was amazing. Make sure you get that. That's Ogilvy on advertising. And how to make your advertising make money. This is another one from John Caples, and it really breaks down, like you see here. I can't see it. Well, matter of fact, I have this book in front of me and what that says in front. So it says, The Secret of Successful Advertising, 12 Ways to Find Advertising Ideas, 3 Famous Case Histories, How to Get Advertising Ideas from Brainstorming, 303 Words and Phrases That Sell. These are all the things, like, it really digs into, like, kind of breaking down. Once you kind of know how to advertise, this starts telling you what words to use, what words not to use. It starts to really break down, like, not to use words that would include, like, that mean working, and to use different words. Like, instead of saying learn how to do this, because that's like a working word, like learning, that's laborious, right? But you can say discover, right? So that sounds better. So this starts to break down all of the little things to make your advertising. You already know how to advertise, but this starts to just help you tweak your advertising to really start to make them convert really well. And these books that I've just given you are really good books to read. I can tell you now, you can see here that a lot of these books are going to be right here on Scribe. I did a video on this before. This is $8.99. And you can see that a lot of these books, I've even run searches, but you see Gary Bensavenga is here. John Caples is here. A lot of these books that I've told you about are going to be right here in here. See Clayton Makepeace. Other popular copywriters have pages that have been uploaded or whatever. And so you can see here Dan Kennedy, Killer Marketing, So you coming here, if you don't have the money to actually, or you can't get to a library, or you don't have, maybe say you don't have Amazon wherever you are, maybe you're in a third world or a developing country. I won't say third world country. If you're in a developing country and you just don't have the resources, you can pay this $8.99 a month to Scribe, and you can get most of these things. People take notes. Just these are like free documents you can download, and then they actually have books, and they also have audio books as well. So you can come over here and you can actually listen to some of these books, and then you can kind of like further your so you can see here I read The Greatest Salesman in the World, and then I listened to Made to Stick, which was pretty good. Secrets of Closing a Sale by Zig Ziglar is here. So they got a lot of different stuff here. This is Rich Dad Poor Dad. You guys probably heard that book before. The Power of Habit was another good book. Good to Great is another good book. So you can see that you have audio books that you can listen to. And they're pretty good. It's pretty good. So I have a subscription to this, and every once in a while, like I'll go on vacation. I can't take my library with me, and obviously, the book I took with me I already read, and then I'll come here so I can listen to these books either while I'm driving or while I'm in a hotel or a rental wherever I'm at on vacation. Because the learning doesn't stop for me. I'm always like reading something, doing something like that. So those have been my suggestions. I totally suggest these 7 books. The Halbert newsletter is free. And then also, like I said, now there's a couple of books in here that I didn't talk about, like the Boron Letters from Gary Halbert, the Halbert Copywriting Method. That would be nice for you to read, because his son, this Boron Halbert that wrote this, kind of breaks down what he did. How to Write a Good Advertisement by Victor Schwab, a good book here. And when you want to start to get into actual persuasion, Dr. Robert Cialdini, the Persuasion and Persuasion book. You see Influence here, The Psychology of Persuasion. Those 2 books I totally suggest that you read. Once you get your head wrapped around how this all works out, I highly suggest The Irresistible Offer. You have to understand, once you know how to write copy, that's not the end of it. Understanding how to put together an irresistible offer it's essential. You have to put together an offer. So it's another one I suggest. And these triggers by Joe Sugarman here are actual words that trigger emotions in people. And this is after you understand how to be a copywriter. These are different little tweaks that you can start adding to your copywriting to really take it over the top. The Robert Collier Letter book. This is really a good book, and it's about his time in advertising and what made money, what sold, and nothing changes. Right, this is from the early 1900s, and nothing really changes. So that's another good book to read as well. Reading the books in story format, when they're kind of telling a story about what they did in advertising, and imagining being back there at the times, and they're selling stuff kind of like the Sears catalog, and listening at them talk about how they sold things and what worked and didn't work. If you have a good imagination, you can just take yourself back then and kind of see them writing copy and how they sold it. He sold a lot of books. So a lot of those books like encyclopedias, and they had a lot of series of books that people were writing back then. And he sold a lot of books, but how he sold the books and the different things he did to tweak his headlines and to tweak his copy was really exciting to read. So these books aren't boring reads. Most of them are good reads. I will admit that Dr. Robert Cialdini, it's a little dry, but it is really interesting. And I listened to Influence. My wife and I listened to that on audio. A lot more interesting on audio. It's just a little a tip that I have for you. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this, click the thumbs up, man. Share this if you know somebody needs these books and needs to get brushed up on their copywriting techniques. Also, man, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, man. Remember, man, just reading these books is not going to be all it takes. It's going to take you being dedicated to this thing every day, man, nonstop. There's no excuses. There's no explanations. Let's get it done.